The Arizona Lacrosse League is looking for your support of our Game of the Week webcast by APN. Become a sponsor today. You'll reach thousands in the Arizona Lax community. You will get a 20-second in-game ad that will appear 5 times. Announcer read touting your business throughout the broadcast. And it's a great branding opportunity. Game sponsorship and value packages available. Call Jeff Lowry at APN Video 623-936-5585 to become a sponsor today of Arizona High School Lacrosse. And a pleasant good evening to everybody. Arizona High School Lacrosse is on the air. You got the defending champions, the Notre Dame Saints, riding a 21-game win streak, and tonight they'll be taking on Dan Lannon and the Desert Vista Thunder. I'm Jeff Lowry with APN Sports. A beautiful day has turned into nighttime here. 85 degrees was our high today, but it's cooled off. We're in the low 70s. Should get in the high 60s by before the end of this game. Desert Vista coming in. They're 5-1 by way of record, and they are led by Nick Callahan, number 66, one of their top scorers this year, a second-generation Desert Vista Thunder. He's going to need a big game here today. And along with Votto and Chris Votto, a midfielder, one of the other stars on Desert Vista. And Dan Lannon, the second winningest coach in league history. His team has come in here outscoring their opponents 86-53, and they're coming off an 18-10 win over Mountain Ridge. Well, the defending champions, this is a stacked team, no question about it. So many returning stars from last year's team. And they're led by, of course, number 2, Quinn Stanton, one of the most versatile players in the state. Doesn't require to score a ton of goals, but this is a young man who is absolutely a hoover out there, a ground ball machine. And what a season for Blake Story. I mean, maybe the stats aren't the greatest in the world because they've got so many great scorers on this team. And the defense is led by Zach Siegel. And, of course, Mark Siegel is one of the coaches here, along with their head coach, Doug Lipka. They're in the midst of a 22-game win streak. They have outscored their opponents 111-21, and we'll talk about that more as this game unfolds. Calling all teams and players, get into the box. Arizona Box Lacrosse presents the Best in Box Invitational starting in June. League practices will be held to prepare for a 6-week game series sponsored by String King. Get into the box. Register today at azboxla.com. If you're ready now, the starting lineups. First for the defending champion, the Notre Dame Saints. They come out at attack with James Traxler, Max Bergamo, and Chandler Coper. The midfield, Blake Story, Quinn Stanton, and Andrew Schertz. So we got some great information about this young man. Number 1 in the state in ground balls. In defense, it's Siegel, Fryer, and the close defense, Blake McKeon. And boy, the ever-improving Josh Calvin, who has really emerged as one of the top goalies in the state. For Desert Vista, we mentioned the Nick Callahan at attack, Ben Brandenberger and Jack Aarons. The midfielder, one of the anchors, Garrett Geeson, J.J. Rose, Offensive Player of the Year last year, and Spencer Story. Bryce Thumler, one of the top defensive players in the state of Arizona. He'll be flanked there by Mitchell and Culp, and Christian Creech is the goalie. And there he is, 63 right on cue. So we're ready to go. The face-off get-offs here will be Brooks Lang for the Notre Dame Saints. And on the other side, number 21 for Desert Vista. And wouldn't you know it, we don't have a 21. I'm sorry, it's 26, Connor Farrell, as they battle for the unsettled ball. And it looks like Desert Vista takes the opening face-off, but then Bergamo comes up, scoops up the ground ball. Notre Dame's got it, and this game is underway. Notre Dame coming in undefeated at 7-0. They have not lost since the 2016 season. They ran the gamut last year, going undefeated at 15-0 and adding 7 more to their in-state win streak of 22. They're coming off a very, very impressive win over Arcadia 19-2 last week. First shot of the game. Bergamo pulls the trigger and leaves it high. Backing up nicely was the Saints. Traxler now gives to Story. Story having an outstanding year. He's got 26 goals and make it 27 as he draws first blood, and Notre Dame leads it here in the first, 1-0. That comes at the 10:55 mark, and Story an unassisted goal, and the Saints lead it 1-0. If Desert Vista is going to have a lot of success here tonight, I think they need a big night out of J.J. Rose. And if he's not getting the goals, he's probably going to have to get 5 or 6 assists here tonight and open things up for Aarons and Brandenburg and Callahan. So a ground ball picked up there, and it's going to be turned back over. Procedure against the Notre Dame Saints, who come out in the white tops and the purple shorts and the all-dark Desert Vista colors, moving from left to right. Desert Vista in possession, and they trail it 1-0 here on APN Video Sports in our Encore Gamecast. Game of the week. Well, this is the first time that we have featured Notre Dame on APN Sports this year. Next week, they have 3 out-of-state teams coming into play. Here is a ball pried loose. That's Schertz, who really never played lacrosse prior to this season. In fact, he picked up a lacrosse stick for the first time about a month and a half before the season, and he has been tremendous. I mean, he is a natural out there. He may not be the scoring machine of a Story or a Bergamo, but he has been a ground ball machine, and that has really, really made Doug Lipka, who had to kind of recruit him for this team and had to work hard to convince him to do it. Blake McKeon, one of the top defenders. He'll be an all-star at season's end at defense, number 23 for Notre Dame. Work it over to Callahan, and he's going up against another all-star. And Ryan Poteet, one of the great long-stick midfielders we've seen in recent years. And the takeaway belongs to McKeon. And their polls, Notre Dame, they can score. Siegel, who has 8 points this year, 6 goals, 2 assists, and he's a long-stick defender. And Siegel is not afraid to bring the ball across the midway stripe. 1-0 Notre Dame. And now a very talented football player in there in Jake Smith, who has 16 points this year. And now Stanton going to work. Alley dodged, but pushed out of there nicely on some good defense by Winston Baltine. Work it around. Now Traxler. I thought last year, J.J. Rose, a lot of people asked me about the Player of the Year award, and I think J.J. deserved it, as the shot by Bergamo is no good. And now Traxler will restart it. Traxler could have won that award too. He had a tremendous year, and it was really tough because there was 3 or 4 players that really could have deserved to get that award, as Austin Rosen comes through, but somehow Traxler slips in there with a one-timer and finds the back of the cage. Traxler with his 25th point of the year comes at the 8:22 mark, and Notre Dame leads it by a score of 2-0 here. First quarter action on our Arizona Lacrosse League Game of the Week. We mentioned Desert Vista coming off an impressive 18-10 victory over Mountain Ridge. Face off. Who wants this one? Well, it's still an unsettled ball. J.J. Rose, 25 in there, but it's Traxler who comes out of the fray with it. And Notre Dame in possession. 21 has been an interesting player this year, Brooke Lang. Been doing a lot of face-offs. He's going to face off and now get off the field as he gives way to Blake Story, the senior midfielder, who scored the first goal of the game. He starts to dodge, moving left, comes back with the right hand, and he's found the promised land. His second goal of the day, and Notre Dame leads it 3-0. Story with his second goal of the contest. That comes with 7:41 left to go here in the opening quarter. And the Notre Dame Saints lead it by a score of 3-0. Lang trying to win another one here. Desert Vista. And it's going to be Lang with the ground ball, and they've won 3 of the first 4, and now a flag comes in late. And then this is going to be a slash going against number 7 over there, A.J. Andrew Schertz, who has been lightning in a bottle this year for Doug Lipka and the Notre Dame Saints. So it's a man-up situation for the Thunder and a chance to draw within 1. They trail 3-1 here. Quarter number 1 just underway from Bemis Field on the campus of Notre Dame Prep High School. We're in northeast Scottsdale. What a beautiful day we had here in the Valley of the Sun. The temperature in the car said 85. Good ball rotation, tic-tac-toe passing, and there's the save by Josh Calvin. Excellent job by the junior goalie. But the temperature has been dropping drastically once that sun goes down. Good clear by Stanton, who I think is one of the best at, well, not only the ground balls, but, well, I'll tell you, last year he was just phenomenal clearing the ball for this team. Almost can get out of any situation. And now a wing dodge. Tried to give it up. It was a good idea, but he turns it over to Mitchell, but then he loses it. And now Bergamo. This sophomore sensation last year had a big year. He's a junior this year. What a save by the Desert Vista goalie, Christian Creech. And it will be Desert Vista's possession here. Halfway through quarter number 1. So both teams are even after the 1-minute infraction against Schertz, and intercepted at midfield. Now in transition, here's Traxler. Off it goes to Bergamo, and he has found the promised land with the left. Bergamo scoring his first. And that'll be an assist for Traxler, who has his second point of the day. And Notre Dame has bolted out to a 4-0 lead. What a first quarter so far. As our game today is brought to you by the Arizona Box Lacrosse League, AZLAXLA.com. Bill Casey. We appreciate his support of our Arizona Lacrosse League Game of the Week this year. Now the dodge. Here's Jack Arentz, dominant left hand, and it paid off, and the flag. He has scored for Desert Vista, who have cut the deficit to 4-1. Jack Arentz coming through. And we're going to get an illegal body check. This is going to go against, I believe that's Story over there with 5:32 left to play here in the first quarter, and it's 4-1. Notre Dame getting the first 4 goals. I think I said earlier it was 3-1. It was 3-0. But now the score is 4-1. And you talk about possession, and right now it has been all Notre Dame. So we're going to get a timeout. We'll be back. This is APN. Well, 4-1 is the score here as the Saints out to a fast start here. They have had points from 2 points from Story, both goals. Traxler a goal and an assist, and Bergamo on an assist by Traxler. And this one out of play, and more strong defense from number 8, Ryan Poteet, one of the premier long stick midfielders we've seen in recent years. And just as I brag about Notre Dame for a moment, they turned the ball over. Geeson, number 55, restarting it here for the Dan Lannon Desert Vista Thunder. Dan in his 10th season, won 3 national titles at Syracuse as a player. back in the day, and now a ground ball picked up here by Jake Smith. This is a tremendous athlete, and he is being recruited in football. And he's one of the top Arizona football recruits this year, but he's playing some very physical lacrosse here. We're going to get a push without possession, give it back to the Thunder, who is in desperate need of a point here. And the fans are giving some of their commentary on our Arizona Lacrosse League Game of the Week. J.J. Rose. I think this is the first time that J.J. has touched the ball in this contest. Well, Desert Vista in possession in the all-dark uniforms. They trail it by a score of 4-1 on our Arizona Lacrosse League Game of the Week. They work it around, now work it out of X. Jack Aarons, who has accounted for Desert Vista's only score of the game. Back out to Winston. Back over to Winston, looking maybe for a wing dodge here. Now back to X. Thunder trying to play a little keep away here in their 6-on-6 offense. McKeon, good footwork. Zach Siegel. And the shot is taken. The shot is successful. And this one belongs to the Goose. Geeson scores to cut the lead in half. 3 minutes and 28 seconds. So Desert Vista has put back-to-back scores up on the board. And with 3 minutes and 28 seconds left to go here in the opening quarter, it is now Notre Dame 4 and Desert Vista 2. Boy, another face-off win for Notre Dame. And Zach Siegel gets the big ground ball. The long pole, or the pole, will try to bring it into the offensive half where it's going to be kicked around. Unsettled ball. And Max will pick it up here for Notre Dame. Bergamo. And had that pass batted down out of X, but it'll be the Saints' possession. Saints come in here 7-0. Desert Vista 5-1. Lost. Their only loss came a 1-point loss at Brophy Sports Complex to the Broncos. A game that Dan Lannon said they definitely should have won. Here's the dodge from Rosen from the wing, and this one is going to go out of play, and closest to the ball when it goes out of play on a shot gets the possession, and that is exactly what happened there. Thumler will restart it. Long pass, and I don't know. Is this one going to stay in play? No, it will not. Not really sure why Bryce flung that pass. That was probably an ill-advised pass, and he's one of the, I think, one of the better defenders, at least what I've seen from him the last couple of years. And in that Brophy game, he's very good at clearing. Here's Story going to work, and it's Story time again. And he's already got the hat trick, and we're not even out of the first quarter, and it's 5-2 Saints. Story's third goal of the game comes at the 2:24 mark. Notre Dame's largest lead so far in this first quarter has been 4 when they led 4-0. The lead has been trimmed to 4-2 until Story took that one right down the pipe and found the back of the cage. So Story now with 29 points on the season. And he leads all Notre Dame Saints. Notre Dame has won all but one face-off in this game, and they just won another one. Well, what a job by Brooks Lang. Big, strong, tall player, brings some athleticism to this team, and he's done a nice job in face-off X this year for Doug Lipka, who is assisted by Mark Siegel. Eric Ho, Jeff Kuhn, Cody Wood assist Dan Lannon for the Desert Vista Thunder. Shot taken, and a nice save there by Christian Creech. So the goalie comes up with a big save. They can ill afford to fall down any more points with this high-powered offense. Chandler Coper, good pressure, loose unsettled ball midfield. J.J. Rose. Boy, that's a great matchup there. You got Ryan Poteet, long stick midfielder. J.J. Rose, Offensive Player of the Year last year. And the Saints will have the possession as we wind down quarter number 1. Now they're going to give it back to Desert Vista. They conferred. Well, hold on just a minute. Cole Day, the head official here, and it will be J.J. Rose on the restart for the Thunder. Desert Vista, champions in 14 and in 15. They won one back in the early days, 2001. Dan Lannon, who has seen his team go to the championship 4 seasons in a row from 2013 to 2016. Nice job. What a save by Josh Calvin at point-blank range. Now Rose trying to get the ground ball, and he does. He starts to dodge out of the wing, and now getting double-teamed. Gets around that. Nice roll dodge there. Comes back with the left it high. Poteet came up on the slide and did a good job for the Saints, and the Saints were backing it up. Good job by Josh Calvin. So Zach Ziegel will restart it and get it over to Schertz, the state's leader in ground balls, with 51 coming in. And he, too, with that tremendous speed and quickness, is one of the top players, I think, in the state that I've seen this year that can clear the ball. The thing about Notre Dame, I think, really, besides the fact they've got so many of these high scorers coming back and some of the great defenders coming back from last year's undefeated championship team, Siegel and McKeon, to name a few. And, of course, they did lose an outstanding goalie, but I think if you watch Josh Calvin enough, you know this is going to be a young man that could vie for goalie of the year. Here's a high shot by Jake Smith. No. And we're down to 10 seconds left to go here in the first. But I'll tell you, this team, their athleticism really stands out. Here's the shot, and before the buzzer, Ed Story has 4 goals here in the first quarter. 3 seconds left to go, and that gives them a 6-2 lead. That ties their largest lead of the game of 4. Notre Dame has scored 2 in a row after the game got to 4-2, and this will be the end of quarter number 1. We'll be back with the second quarter with Notre Dame leading Desert Vista 6-2. Calling all teams and players, get into the box. Arizona Box Lacrosse presents the Best in Box Invitational starting in June. League practices will be held to prepare for a 6-week game series sponsored by String King. Get into the box. Register today at azboxla.com. Jeff Lowry back here from Bemis Field on the campus of Notre Dame. A reminder that we'll have a couple more games of the week. We'll have 3 altogether this week, as Chandler will take on the Corona del Sol Aztecs tomorrow, and that should be a really good matchup. Of course, both those teams are looking for their first win of the year. And then on Saturday, we think another good matchup, as Pinnacle, the Pinnacle Pioneers, will be taking on the Chaparral Firebirds. And both those teams vying for a playoff spot. It will be the top 6 teams with 1 and 2 getting an automatic berth into the semifinals, if you're wondering about how the playoffs will play out this year. And right now, boy, it almost looks like Notre Dame and either maybe Desert Vista or South Point could be in the hunt. But I'll tell you what, this is one of those years. Notre Dame may very well be the #1 team. They are the team to beat, definitely. They've got to prove it still. They've got to finish out the regular season and do it in the playoffs. But you look at the other 2 semifinalists, I think it's going to be a great, great race for the 3 and 4 spots. I mean, you got 6 teams really vying for it. Mountain Ridge, Boulder Creek, Chaparral, Pinnacle, Brophy, Desert Vista. I think it's going to be a very exciting year for the Arizona Lacrosse League. Now the question is, can anybody compete with this Notre Dame team? And Desert Vista has a chance here tonight to make a statement. Last year, the two teams met in the regular season, and it was a 1-point game over at Pecos Field. But then Notre Dame had a strong second half in the semifinals against Desert Vista and won that one. And look at that. Toe drag, dodge, pays off. So Winston Bolting scores at the 10-minute mark, and, well, Desert Vista right back into the ball game. Desert Vista has scored 3 of the last 5. A tight shot there. You're getting a look at Brooks Lang, number 21 in white. And in 26, it's actually Notre Dame winning the ground ball. Adam Boyer. Or check that, Alex Clausen. Clausen bringing it all the way down the X. And now Traxler's going to go to work here for Notre Dame. He has 2 points on the game. Had a tremendous year last year. I thought he was kind of the leader out there for this team that kind of settled things down. When this team needed this kind of settle down, Story going to work, but now pulls out of there off the wing dodge. Now comes right back at it. He'll take the shot, and it is going to be good. We had to check to see if that one was in the cage or on the outside. I thought it was on the outside, and Story has 5 goals, and we are just about, we're not even 15 minutes into this contest, and it's 7-3 Notre Dame. So what a night for Blake Story here as he continues to be monumental. Stay with us at the conclusion of this game. We'll have a post-game interview with our player of the game. Siegel got the ground ball. Nope, it's going to be Desert Vista. Desert Vista has lost at face-off X so far 8-3. So Winston Bolton, 22, ball carrier, takes Siegel into X. Now Jack Arentz, picked up there by Donahue. Kyle Donahue now in there. A 7-3 lead for the Saints, defending champions of the Arizona Lacrosse League. And back out to Winston. Winston, Poteet, good check there, high crease. Garrett going to work. And the quick pass, and Callahan turned away. Tough nut to crack. Josh Calvin, unsettled ball right of the crease. Siegel clears it out of there. Can he keep it from going out of play? He cannot. But a good effort by Zach Siegel. Now the restart, Desert Vista in the offensive half. Get it back into the box. Quick pass in front of the crease. And here's Schertz with the ground ball. He lost it. Good check there by J.J. Rose. And who wants it? Notre Dame battling. Doherty, Daniel Doherty. And that's a hot potato. And he picks it up, scoops it up, gets it out towards midfield. And here's Bergamo. And he's got the numbers. He's ahead of the pack. He will go with the left, and he's going to be turned away. That was a good trail check that time by Jacob Mitchell, the midfielder. And Desert Vista has possession, and they really need a score now. Trailing by 4. Tied for the largest lead of the game, 7-3, is the Saints. They went up 4-0 to start the game in the first. And we're in the second quarter as Notre Dame in the white tops and the purple shorts leads it 7-3. J.J. Rose, player of the year, now in possession. Dan Lannon wants to get a couple of substitutions in here. Jaden Dinobilo coming into the game now for Desert Vista. Winston back in. Quick pass along the crease. And I'll tell you, Brandon Berger was right there, and what a save by Josh Calvin again. That was a great pass by JJ, by the way. Now Siegel. He's not afraid to pull the trigger. Good pass. And, well, the good cut back by Chandler Coper, but he couldn't find the back of the cage. Now Traxler to restart it here for Notre Dame. Saints lead 7-3. This surface has been slippery. We've seen a lot of people slip. Traxler tried to go bottom shelf, couldn't get it, trying to get his own ground ball, and he does. And he was double-teamed, and he flips it over to Story, who has 5 goals in this game to lead all scores. He starts to dodge. He's wide open, and he blasts one with the right hand. 6 first-half goals for Story. And the largest lead of the game of 5 for the Saints comes with 6-11. And what a first half for Blake Story. He has been the story here tonight. Another face-off win for the Saints. They have dominated in X. Lang bringing it all the way down. He's not afraid to shoot. And that one was turned away. Nice job by Christian in the crease. Creech has had a nice year this season. Now Thumler nearly threw that one away, and he does. Siegel, Johnny on the spot. Now the pole, bringing it into the offensive half. Traxler, roll dodge, shoots and scores. Well, they're starting to feel it now. Traxler with his second goal of the game. They've scored 3 straight. And they lead it by a score of 9-3 here in the second quarter with 5 minutes and 42 seconds left to play. Second quarter action. Well, one of our officials here instructing the wing midfielders to separate themselves a bit. Well, this has become a huge rivalry. And a big reason why, Dan's team came in here, Lannon's team, a couple of years ago, beat them up pretty good, 20-4, right here at, I believe it was played here at Bemis Field. Bergamo, now they'll work it around. And after that, as the shot is taken by Smith, he leaves it wide left of the crease. And the Saints lead at 9-3. Then last year, they had that 1 point a game over at Pecos Park. Quick pass out front. Oh, Pipe City that time. Tough break for Chandler. Picked up by Bergamo. And then that semifinal game was close. I think Desert Vista got out to an early lead as Story looking for his 7th goal. Can he get it? And he finds Pipe City. Round ball picked up there nicely by Braden Culp, and the crowd wants blood. Well, I'll tell you what, crowd into it. And you can just tell by the fans that this has become a very intense rivalry. Let's see what we got here. Now we got an unnecessary, I think it's an unnecessary roughness. But it's a 1-minute penalty. It's not a non-releasable. But nonetheless, I mean, Notre Dame's had a chip on their shoulder the last couple of years because, they took their lumps. They had a lot of underclassmen a couple of years ago. They were 4-8 in the regular season, but started to really turn it around at the end of that 2016 season, and part of that was playing Desert Vista. Calvin with the save. And they beat DV twice last year and may be on their way to a 3rd straight win over them. Look at this clear. Jake Smith. He's the football prospect. And that's an outstanding clear. Look at that tremendous speed, the tremendous quickness over to Rosen. But it's a great rivalry because you've got, I think, 2 of the top 3 or 4 programs here in the state of Arizona. Of course, Notre Dame's defending champs, so I guess they're #1 right now. Desert Vista, in this decade, and could quite possibly be the team of the decade along with Brophy. They've won 2 championships, been there 4 times. Brophy has won 3 and has been to the state finals 5 times. And Notre Dame should get back there this year. Bergamo, nice job. And changing the eye level is James Traxler. Traxler has a hat trick. That's his 3rd. He has an assist, 4 points. And with 3:30 left to go, it is now 10-3 in favor of Notre Dame Prep. Traxler has 4 points. Story, 6 goals, no assist, has 6 points. And a big advantage in face-off X, Shirts with the ground ball. Donahue, 17, and he promptly throws it away. Jake Smith couldn't climb the ladder. And there is Doug Lipka, the head coach of this team in his 5th season. He's done a great job. And I think the key for this team a couple of years ago, they had Spencer Stanton, who was one of the great players in Notre Dame history. We got offsides here against Desert Vista, and I'll give it back to the Saints. When Spencer Stanton was here a couple of years ago, again, team was really, really young. He was a senior leader on that team. And they knew they had to take their lumps. But the nice thing about what I think Doug Lipka and Mark Siegel did with this team, they got these underclassmen. They got these sophomores, and some of these guys were freshmen getting some playing time. As Quinn Stanton picks up the ground ball, let's see if he's going to be aggressive here. He dodges and turned away. A spectacular save by the Desert Vista Thunder goalie, Christian Creech. Traxler, another ground ball. And then last year it paid off because a lot of the guys that were freshmen and sophomore a couple of years ago when they were struggling were juniors and seniors last year. Of course, they only lost 2 seniors. Jake Smith trying to get on the tally and leaves that one wide to the right. Now Story with 6 goals here in the first half. He goes in and got a little pipe city there and maybe part of the face of Creech. We credit him with another save. And even though 10 points are up here on the board, Creech has had his moments of greatness as the crease policeman for this Desert Vista Thunder team. Now Stanton going to work. Good roll dodge there. Takes the shot, didn't have a good angle. Creech another save. Well, Desert Vista needs to go on about a 3-goal run here if they're going to even have a chance in the second half. As we wind down the first half of action. This is Callahan. Callahan, nice roll there, and the shot turned away. Calvin again. So Josh Calvin, the junior goalie, coming up huge and getting the save for the Notre Dame Saints. 10-3 is the score. Notre Dame on top. They have scored 4 straight. Desert Vista in possession. Desperately needing a possession. Poteet with the takeaway. And now we're going to get a little pushing and shoving going on as Ryan Poteet and Jaden Dinobillo going at it. And we're probably going to get an unsportsmanlike on both players. And it looks like we're going to get 2 non-releasable penalties there. And I believe the reason they're doing that is just simply to keep the tempers down as we have a timeout on the field. With the score, the Saints of Notre Dame 10, Desert Vista 3. All right, the Saints will restart it. What a first half for Traxler, 4 points, 6 goals for Notre Dame's outstanding senior midfielder, Blake Story. Shot taken, turned away. Creech in the crease. Traxler with another. How many great ground balls has he had in this game? I mean, with players around him. He just plays with so much confidence. And not every lacrosse player is great at picking up ground balls, but it's all about possession. Now Stanton. He's going to work with the alley dodge, and that one turned away. Creech. Notre Dame trying to get one more on the board before the buzzer. Jake Smith's shot no good. We head into halftime with the Saints, defending champions, leading it 10-3. We'll be back with the second half in just a moment. Calling all teams and players, get into the box. Arizona Box Lacrosse presents the Best in Box Invitational starting in June. League practices will be held to prepare for a 6-week game series sponsored by String King. Get into the box. Register today at azboxla.com. Well, we head now to the second half of this game, and it has been all Notre Dame. They lead it by a score of 10-3. Jeff Lowry with you on the play-by-play. And what more can you say about Blake Story and his 6 goals? And James Traxler, he is the game high in terms of ground balls. Siegel wins the face-off. He gets the ground ball. He's had a big game here today. He's been a ground ball machine, and we talk about everything is about possession, and Desert Vista is probably going to have to do something with their face-offs here if they want to get back into this. Great pass here by Story, and then Bergamo tried the backhanded flip shot there, but comes up empty-handed. And we got a new goalie in there, and this is going to be Kaylor Moore. Ground ball picked up there by Culp. Culp brings it into the offensive half. They get it into the box. We were talking about the success these two programs have had. Of course, Notre Dame last year, state champs, undefeated. They're in the midst of a 22-game win streak. But Dan Lannon's team, and we talk about for a moment historical references, if you will, give me the freedom to do this here. It's 10-3 in favor of the Saints as Desert Vista has the possession. But what Notre Dame is doing this year could be, in fact, very historical in terms of successful teams in league history. Schertz comes up with a ground ball and quickly gets the Saints in transition. Now they'll back off. Now Bergamo looks to dodge. Going with the left-handed shot. He left it high. He has 1 goal tonight, 1 point, number 13, the junior midfielder for the Saints. Well, going into this game, we mentioned at the top of the broadcast, the Saints have outscored their opponents 111-21. They are averaging a 12.9 point differential this season. And you would think, averaging nearly 16 points a game while giving up 3, that this has got to be maybe the best team in league history if you reference it by point differential. But Dan Lannon's 2014 team had a 14.5 point differential. They averaged 17.1 points a game, and the year after that was more in line what Notre Dame is doing here, as that shot is going to be deflected out front. Traxler picked it up, and a good knockdown there. And I believe that was Culp that might have got the face on it, but Notre Dame still has possession. Doherty with his team up 10-3 here in quarter number 3. So Notre Dame is going to have to step it up just a little bit. Now, I still believe that the best team in league history was Dan Lannon's 2014 team. They had the 2 best players, I think, in league history. Astorius scored his 7th. My goodness. That was a bull dodge right down the middle. Well, that's a career high for Blake Story. 7 goals here tonight, and it's 11-3. They have been impressive against a quality top 3 team, I believe, Desert Vista. I would put them in the top 3. But I will say this. I think this year's Notre Dame Saints team has a chance to rival the Brophy 2012 team, as this one's turned away. Good defense that time by Caden Holt, 59, who checked into the game, and now Moore. Kaylor Moore, the goalie, who came in here at halftime, leads it up ahead, back to Holt. And now one of the Poles brings it into the offensive half. They get it into the box and now can settle in. Here's Aarons, who scored the first goal of the game for Desert Vista when they were trailing 4-0 back in the first. I think the 05 Chaparral Firebirds, Jeff Stroop's team, would have to be considered. Whoa, was that a leg save that time by Calvin? That was something impressive. Did the splits to come up with a save for the Saints. Up 11-3 here in the third quarter. The 12 Brophy Broncos. And even though the 07 Brophy Broncos and the 08 team, I think it was the 08 team, they actually beat Lawrenceville convincingly. Those were two of the great teams. Brophy's had some great ones. But Desert Vista, and I know maybe I shouldn't be talking about this, but, I mean, that 2014 team, I'd love to see that team playing this Notre Dame Saints team this year. I think that would be a good matchup. (11-3) Notre Dame. They're in the white with the purple shorts. Playing here at Bemis Field on our Arizona Lacrosse League Game of the Week, brought to you by the Arizona Box Lacrosse League. Go to azboxla.com. Ground ball picked up nicely, Alex Clausen. An 8-point lead. This is the largest lead of the game for the Saints. Traxler still out there along with Bergamo. Saints won the state championship last year in a thriller 10-9 at Arcadia High School over the Broncos. And Kaylor Moore, outstanding job and an outstanding save for Desert Vista on that quick shot. That was the last game that Bo Pick, the winningest coach in league history, would coach as he stepped down for Zach Whitman this year. Moore loses it out in front of the crease. And they can smell blood on the Saints side. Bergamo, Traxler, can he get the ground ball? He does. A weak shot. And that one's corralled by Moore. Now J.J. Rose. John James Rose. He'll be attending college next year in Rhode Island. Awfully excited about the scholarship he picked up. Now Rose starts to dodge. J.J., who has had only one shot in this game. I think we said at the top of the broadcast, if Desert Vista has a chance, he has that one taken away. But he really has been smothered by this Saints defense here tonight. Now Quinn Stanton going to work. His team up 11-3. Give it over to Max Bergamo. I know I called him Bergamo last year. I thought somebody told me that was the pronunciation. And Max, I'm publicly saying I'm sorry about that last year. Max had a tremendous season in his sophomore year and was such a vital part of this Saints success, who went 15-0 and won the state championship. Now Jake Smith. Work it around. Stanton. Get it back to Traxler, who has 4 points, 3 goals, 1 assist. See if Stanton can get on the board here. Stanton gets the hands free, and the three-quarter shot is good. It is 12-3, and that is their largest lead of the contest with 4:48 left to play. All right, let's see if Desert Vista can string a few goals here and get back into this game. I mean, they've got the weapons to get back in it. They got Callahan, they got Aarons, you got J.J. Rose, one of the leading scorers this year. But possession has been the primary difference in this game, and once again, it's the Saints. And look at Zach Siegel. I mean, he's like a long stick midfielder. In fact, I think he would be good at that position. Quickly down inside, and Brooks left it wide to the left. Good look there. Good pass. I mean, really, if Doug Lipka wanted to have a little fun, maybe not in a game like this, but, I mean, he's got some interchangeable parts here. I mean, he's got guys that can I mean, there's probably 2, maybe 3 guys on defense that could probably go to midfield. Those poles, they wouldn't know what to do if they had a short stick in their hand. This guy here's been pretty versatile. And I think that what they would like to see out of 21 next year is that he can pick up some of the scoring, because they're going to lose some outstanding seniors. They're going to lose Blake Story to graduation and Quinn Stanton. They're going to lose Traxler. They're going to lose Ryan Poteet, who's not a scorer, and Schertz, the ground ball machine. Rosen. But they got Calvin, the goalie, coming back next year. You got Jake Smith, a junior midfielder, coming back next year. Blake McKeon. Shot, another save. Boy, Moore's looked really good since coming in at goal for Desert Vista. Turnaround shot, Doherty, who got the loose ball, and he is denied. I'll tell you what, a tip of the cap to the Desert Vista Thunder here, and their goalie, who came in relief at halftime, Kaylor Moore. Second half action, intercepted. And it's Siegel again. He has been phenomenal here tonight. He has had a great game for the Saints. And now Quinn Stanton. We're in a running clock. And actually, I think we've been in a running clock since it was... No, we're not. I'm sorry. We're not in a running clock. It's 12-3. We'll have to go up. Let's see. You'll have to go up by 10. You have to go up by 10. Traxler going to work and turned away. Good defense. Good check there by Spencer Story. And again, the Saints, who back up as well as anybody in this league. Desert Vista trailing 12-3. Stanton, who scored his first goal a few moments ago. Doherty. I'll tell you what, Spencer Story, good job out there. He's made a lot of big plays here for Desert Vista, but they're on the wrong side of a 12-3 ledger. Stanton, his second, over the top. Tough angled shot over Winston Bolton. And Quinn has his second, and it's now 13-3. And when the clock starts again, we will be in a continuous clock, or a running clock, whatever you want to call it. So Stanton with his second goal. He is one of 3 players for the Saints here tonight who have had more than 1 point or goal here tonight. Good ground ball there, but that battle has been losing battle all night long for Desert Vista. Good defense by McKeon. So third quarter action. McKeon trailing Aarons. Aarons, who had an older brother, along with Callahan, played here at Desert Vista for the Desert Vista Thunder. We're at Bemis Field at Notre Dame Prep in North Scottsdale, and this is our Arizona Lacrosse League game of the week. I think 3 in total. Votto, Callahan, and Aarons all had older brothers, and all were great players for Dan Lannon. Those guys were on some of those great teams we were talking about earlier. And when I'm talking about, you know, these great teams and comparing them to teams from the past, it's just for fun. It's just for conversation. Good job by Jack Aarons. Jack harassed by Siegel. Shot turned away. Josh Calvin, the junior goalie. 13-3, this 10-point lead, the largest of the game for the Saints. Looking to go to 8-0. The only other undefeated team in the league is the Sal Point Lancers. Desert Vista looks like, unless a miracle comeback, is going to drop to 5-2. And that is the end of quarter number 3. Doug Lipka's team looking to win their 23rd straight in-state game. They lead it 13-3. This is APN Video Sports. All right, Jeff Lowry back here from Bemis Field. We're on the campus of Notre Dame Prep. It's a 13-3 lead. We're in a running clock here. The Saints have flexed their muscles, guns a-blazing, and they came out. They led it 6-2 after one. They had a 10-3 lead at halftime, and now lead their largest of the day, 13-3, as we go to the fourth quarter. J.J. Rose, who has taken just 2 shots in this game. He'll be picked up defensively by Siegel. Let's see if we can get J.J. into the offensive flow a little more. He left that one high. And talking to Mickey Miles Felton, a broadcast partner for me for the University of Arizona games this year, a Hall of Fame coach, a longtime head coach at Arizona, and he was telling me that so many times that, you know, and what he would teach his players is not to go with that, what you would call maybe a sidearm shot. Unless you're really, I guess, really changing the eye level of that goalie, and you're trying to go low to high, and that's by intent, but he does not like that sidearm shot. 3/4 and over the top is fine. And we were talking about this on our last broadcast down there. And if you're interested in listening to U of A lacrosse, we will have 2 live broadcasts of Wildcat lacrosse on APN Sports. Our YouTube channel is APN Video, and then my name, Jeff Lowry. We're going to get a little 30-second technical foul on the Saints, so a man-up situation here for the Thunder as they trail at 13-3 here in the fourth in a running clock. We will be covering the April 7th game I was going to say high noon. Both games, our 2 remaining home games for U of A, will be at 7 p.m. And go to our APN Video. Actually, you can go to the Arizona Lacrosse YouTube. Arizona Lacrosse YouTube, 7 p.m. on the 7th and 14th of April as the Wildcats try to close out their season strong against Grand Canyon and Arizona, 2 teams that are really struggling of late. Here's the shot taken in the big left hand. Now, that was a sidearm shot. Coach Felton. Ben Brandenburger finds the promised land. So BB scores with 9:14 left to go, and that cuts it to 13-4. So we hope you'll join us. Go to Arizona Lacrosse YouTube for live coverage of the Arizona Wildcats. Bergamo gets it into the box after another face-off win. Dominated. Face-off X has been the Saints here tonight, and that's been a big reason why they got a 9-point lead in this matchup against Desert Vista. I have a feeling if both these teams hook up again, it's not going to. The game will not look like this one. I almost guarantee it. Rosen finds the promised land. What a beautiful alley dodge, and man, he just blasted one through to make it 14-4, 8:34 left to play. Quinn Stanton, who was in face-off X, gets his own ground ball and takes it into the box. Stanton will work it out of X. Traxler still in, the starter still in there for Notre Dame, with a 10-point lead and a running clock. Blake Story. And he starts that wing dodge, moving left, shooting right, and for the 8th time, he has found the back of the cage. Rip City time for Blake Story, his 8th goal of the night. That comes with 7:42 left to go, and it's 15-4. This 11-point lead is the largest of the night. And Siegel continues to be impressive with the goals. Or check that, the ground balls. He is in double figures. This is a defenseman. This is one of your poles, and he is among the leaders. He and Traxler are the top 2 ground ball gainers in this game. Loose ball, unsettled. Who wants it? Taylor Witt. And Witt loses it. Goes back the other side. I don't think he really had possession, so it's not an over and back, which is one of the new rules. Of course, Desert Vista has the possession. And Culp. And we're going to get a timeout, Desert Vista. They trail 15-4. It's been a tough night for Dan Lannon's team. But again, I think if these two teams meet again in the playoffs, I think you're going to see a different game. I really do. 6:42. Dan Lannon, one of the premier head coaches in our league. Second winningest coach. Probably will pass Bo Pick next year as the winningest coach. And right now, the Saints lead it by a score of 15-4. Back on defense. Shot taken. That one caught Pipe City. Nice rip out there along the wing by the Goose. His dad's sitting right below our broadcast area here at Bemis Field on the campus of Notre Dame. One of the great football stadiums, lacrosse stadiums in the state of Arizona, no question about it, especially during the day with the beautiful backdrop of the McDowell Mountains. Cheap it all the way down the midfield, and Thumler comes up with the interception. Thumler brings it into the offensive half, gets it into the box, and now they'll set it up with Aarons. 15-4 Saints, fourth quarter action. We're in a running clock. 10 points or more on the advantage puts us into a running clock situation. It'll only stop during an injury or a timeout, which would be a timeout. Our next Arizona Lacrosse League game is going to be tomorrow's Chandler Pumas and Corona del Sol Aztecs. Both those teams are hungry for their first win of the season. We think it's going to be a great matchup. We hope you will join us here on our YouTube channel, APN Video. Here's the dodge. Goal line extended right. The shot. And this time, Callahan has found the back of the cage with a blistering shot to make it 15-5 at the right around the 4:55 mark. So Callahan scoring for the first time. They've had goals from Aarons, Goose, Winston. They got goals from Ben Brandenberger and now Callahan. 15-5 is the score as we are approaching the 4-minute mark here in the fourth quarter. And then Saturday, Pinnacle at Chaparral. I'm really looking forward to tomorrow night's game with Corona and Chandler. Story was trying to get his 9th. He has 8 goals here, and he's been the story here. But then I shouldn't say he is the story, because Siegel, double figures in ground balls, the long stick defender. Another turnover, great possession play here tonight. I think that's been the key. If you want to break this one down, Rosen, who scored earlier, as we're getting down to the final 3 minutes of this game. Stay with us. We'll have post-game coverage. We'll have an exclusive interview with the young man, the senior leader of the offense here tonight, Blake Story. We'll have an exclusive interview with Blake Story after the game on our Arizona Lacrosse League Big Play of the Week. Well, I'll tell you, I've been impressed with Moore here in the second half. He's done a great job. And now, as I brag, and this always happens, I start bragging on someone, and then a turnover is always ensuing. Stanton with 2 goals, over to Story with 8, looking for 9, but he leaves it high. Traxler still in there. In fact, you've got Traxler, you got Story, you've got Quinn Stanton still in there. These are all starters. Max. Check that. Chandler Coper. He's a starter. Rosen's in there. Rosen did not start But Max is still in there. And Story, I think he tried to flip that ball around the defender. Not a bad idea. I think he did that on purpose. And we're going to get it looked like a push without possession or procedure. I didn't see the call. Thumler will restart it here for Desert Vista. Final moments of this matchup between the two great programs, Desert Vista and Notre Dame. But tonight, it has been All Saints. They lead it by 10 at 15-5. Callahan with 1 goal. Siegel. Check that Spencer Roy on the defensive assignment. Marks him up. Callahan gets around him. Quick pass along goal line extended. Gets out front. Picked up there by Winston. Got a flag on the play. Might be a slash away from the ball. Here's Winston going to work. Give it back to Callahan. Work it out of X. Here's the dodge. And Calvin again. But a slash. Is that against Jake Smith? I don't think even Jake was in the game. That's Zach Siegel, and we're going to get a timeout. You're watching the Arizona Lacrosse League. 15-5 Saints, 28 seconds left to play. Well, stay with us. At the conclusion of this game, we will have our APN Sports Big Play of the Game. Big Play of the Week. J.J. Rose had, 3 shots on goal in this game and held scoreless. And look at Calvin still hustling his team up by 10, hustling back to get that, even though Desert Vista backed it up and won the possession. J.J. Callahan turned away again. Josh Calvin, and this one belongs to the Saints. They're 8-0. This has been a presentation of APN Video Sports. Our final score here tonight, the Saints 15, the Thunder 5. Let's send it down to the field for our Arizona Lacrosse League Big Play of the Week.